Evan Longoria, 16 seasons in MLB, 10 of them came with the Rays. And it's a surreal but a special moment for me because Evan Longoria was my favorite third baseman at one point. And I am here to talk about Evan Longoria becoming the sixth Rays player to get inducted into the Rays Hall of Fame. I'm here with Florida native, frequent collaborator. It's been a minute.
Mm.
Jasmine. Jasmine, how are you?
I'm doing well, Miguel. I'm happy to be back. I'm excited to talk about this.
First things first, Jasmine, before we go into it, I want to say congratulations through here on your marriage. How does it feel to be a married woman now?
Ooh, it's amazing because marriage has been so good. And it's awesome to be married to a man that God sent as well, that pushes you for your dreams and your goals and things like that. So he's been very supportive and things like that, even though we're settling in, but everything is getting back to normal. So yeah, it's been great. It's a journey.
I'm glad to hear that, and congratulations once again. And usually I don't make content this late. Usually I'm almost on my way to sleep, but I was like, you know what? I mean, I have to, hey, when you enjoy working with somebody, you gotta make time for
Exactly.
something. So, and it's been a minute since we last collaborated, and this is the first time we collaborate on a baseball content. And it's
Baseball. Yeah.
Tampa, and it's Tampa. You know, you're covering Tampa, the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm doing so as well with my own platform. But and then this particular news is special to me because
Hmm.
I've seen basically the guy play through his entire career. And 2008 feels like, in a way, yesterday, but such a long time ago.
Yeah,
And Jasmine, he is one of the biggest reasons why the Rays franchise changed forever.
I agree.
Before 2008, they were a laughing stock. And then when he came into a rookie season, in a way, and no one saw the Rays, no one saw
No.
them finishing first place and even making that run to the World Series. It was just fun. And I wanted them to win the World Series. I picked them that year, but the Phillies were rolling.
They were, yeah.
But Evan Longoria, I mean, when I think about him, I think about 2008 and I think about 2011, especially the last regular season game to send the Rays to the playoffs. So my question to you is, what does Evan Longoria mean to you or to the Tampa Bay franchise? And do you see him have a special role with the franchise after retirement?
You know what? Those are great questions. And I'm gonna say this for one. Evan Longoria, he's one of those stars that come through Tampa, right? Like we've seen so many stars in Tampa, whether it's with the Bucks, whether it's with the Lightning, and things like that. He almost reminds me of Steven Stamkos for the Lightning, right? They have those similar persona, similar aura about them, and they kind of like jump started the organization. For the Lightning, it was and when I look at Evan Longoria and even being in that stadium, right, and seeing him when he was at the Trop and what the Trop meant, and especially what we saw what happened with the Trop last year and things like that. There's a lot of memories that were made there and things like that, especially from him. And he is a big part of Tampa Bay sports history, very big part. And when we talk about that, especially in these decades and stuff like that, he is going to go down in history. And I remember and this is so crazy we're talking about this because last week I was just watching. I'm like, let me just watch some highlights from Evan Longoria, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like this is just like, and then now he's being inducted. It's insane. And I think for me, if being that where the Rays organization is right now, especially with the questions about where they're going to play next and what the future looks like for them and things like that, he should play a very pivotal role in the front office. I think they should really put him in a position so that he can have a lot of influence because it is Evan Longoria. I mean, look at him. He's a Hall of Famer and things like that. So what he means to this area is big. And I think that we need to put him in a situation to be able to make certain suggestions, make certain calls and things like that for the organization. So I think they should put him in a big role.
Yeah, I definitely want to see him have some kind of role with the
Mm-hmm.
Rays because, like you said, and we're saying he meant so much to that
Yeah.
franchise. Without Evan Longoria, I mean, it all started 2008. He
Yeah.
changed the trajectory of the Rays. And the Rays have been to a World Series twice in '08 and 2020. But if you see them after 2008, you always see them competing to get in the playoffs, be in the
Hmm.
playoffs. So they're always there. And even though this season they're off to a
A
rocky
Rocky.
start,
Yeah.
but they do have some talent. You have Junior Caminero there. You
Yeah.
have Shane Baz, who's performing well as well. So this team, I mean, it's a long season, so anything can happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a very competitive division because we
Yeah.
see what the Red Sox are doing, the Yankees, etc. Baltimore has been a surprise,
Very big
disappointing.
surprise. Past few years.
So
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, but Evan Longoria, I mean, what he was doing in those first 4 seasons with Tampa was unbelievable, and the fact that he's going to be joining other guys in the Rays Hall of Fame like Carl Crawford,
Yeah.
um, unbelievable player he was during his time with Tampa. Wade Boggs, who's a Tampa native, he's also in the Rays Hall of Fame. But I just wish that the Rays would have won it all in 2008
Yeah.
because I feel, in my opinion, I feel that the ALCS between the Rays and the Red Sox that year was the
Hmm.
true World Series
Yeah.
because the Phillies World Series, to me, it wasn't impressive. It ended in 5 games,
Right.
but the one with the Red Sox in the ALCS, that was something
That
else.
was,
And
yeah, it was. It was monumental. Yeah. Hmm.
so, but wow, it was just unbelievable that now he's approaching retirement. Me following him throughout his entire career, being one of my favorite third basemen at one point. Um, wow, I mean, it's just unbelievable to see what he has done throughout his career. I wish he
Yeah.
could have had more success, but hey, but at least he did it with one team, man. I just
Yeah.
wish that.
And I love that you said that with one team, right? Because we've seen so many times where, there's a trend now, when a lot of these athletes have so much success and then they go to another franchise and things like that. And for Evan Longoria, it's so awesome to see like that, that tenure that he had here, and you know the community, and that's the biggest thing, being in the community and not seeing, the where the community was at that time to where it is now, and now you're like going to be inducted in that, and now you're a Hall of Famer, and you're going to be recognized for that. And I know at Steinbrenner Field, that stadium's gonna be rocking. That stadium's gonna be on fire for him and things like that. I'm super excited for him and the organization, and it just means a lot to the Tampa, the Tampa Bay area, and there's gonna be a lot of people at that stadium. I'm telling you.
Mm, the ceremony is gonna be June 7th of
Mm-hmm.
2026. Um, it's gonna be obviously it when it comes to these ceremonies, always before the game,
Yeah.
pregame. I've been trying to go to Tropicana Field for the last 2 years, but things didn't work in my favor. And then when
Mm-hmm.
that roof thing happened, I'm like, oh, come
Yeah. I
on.
know.
So, but let's see what happens. Obviously, you said it best, that stadium is gonna be packed. So my question to you is, how many times have you been to Tropicana Field?
How many times have I been to Tropicana Field in my life? I would say at least 2 times inside, but around it a lot of times. I can't even count. I've been to one baseball game, and then I went to the Trop for actually 3 times. Actually, my bad, 3 times. I went to the Trop for 2 graduations, and I went to the Trop for a baseball game years ago. I forgot who the Rays played, but you could tell that stadium means a lot to the Tampa Bay area. We've seen that stadium growing up all the time. You know what I mean? So seeing it where it is right now, it's kind of sad, because I love to go down to St. Pete. We all know I'm a Tampa Bay native and things like that. So passing by the stadium and no one's there is kind of like really eerie. It's like, what are we going to do? And to be honest, I feel like as a person from here, you want to keep that preserved. I think they need to put the Rays back there. I know I work for the Rays, so I can't really say too much about what's going on, but I just, as an outside person looking in, as a person who's a Tampa Bay native, we need to keep the Trop. We need to put the Rays back in there. I know temporarily. I think we need to enhance the stadium for sure and put new features, do different things with it, and things like that. But Steinbrenner Field has been awesome too. I think for what they were able to do and how they were able to like maneuver and pivot to Steinbrenner Field was really awesome. Not as big as the Trop, obviously, so it's limited space, but they did what they could, and I'm glad, how they maneuvered it and how they put things together. So they're doing a pretty good job, but definitely we need to keep the Trop active. We need to get the Trop back up and running for sure.
I remember going to the Marlins Park back in the summer of 2017 with my family.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my first and only time going there. Great experience. I had great seats. And this is the first and only time that I went to a ballpark
Yeah.
where actually the roof, was closed.
Yeah.
It's cold in there. It's super blazing outside, but it's
Yeah.
cold inside. So was that the same way with Tropicana Field?
Yeah, exact same thing. And what's so funny about that, and this is one piece of information. So there's this thing about umbrellas, right? So we know here in Tampa, especially during the summertime, we have a lot of bad thunderstorms and things like that. And it's raining, it's bad lightning capital, things like that. So you had a lot of the fans bringing in, and when they was at the Trop, bringing in their umbrellas. But it's so ironic that even though the Trop is indoors, you bring your umbrellas in because people prepare for the weather. At Steinbrenner Field, we're not allowed to. Fans are not allowed to have umbrellas, and it's not because it's a safety thing. It's because of a fan experience, and I find it so strange because Steinbrenner is open, so it's a little thing like that, and a lot of people are still getting used to that. A lot of the fans are like, man, at the Trop here, at the Trop there, and there's a lot of things like a lot of features that the Trop has that people do miss, and just things like that. But of course, being spacious, you don't have to worry as much about a lot of things at the Trop because it's so big and so vast. But at Steinbrenner Field, it's a lot more compacted, a lot less, little things like that. But it's a nice field. I think Steinbrenner Field is very nice. Even when they played the Yankees a couple weeks ago when I was working there, that was a whole movie because we know Steinbrenner Field is the home of the Yankees for their spring training and stuff like that. So when they did play the Yankees, there was a bunch of Yankees fans in there. It was like a party. So yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a Yankee fan base over there in Tampa, and
Yeah.
I've seen this throughout my entire life following baseball. So, but and I mean, it still feels weird to me the fact that they're playing at the facility where the Yankees play
Mm-hmm.
spring training.
Yeah.
It's when I first read the news that their home games will be played there, I'm like, this is gonna be super awkward,
Yeah.
but it's hilarious. But I just hope that they get the situation fixed
Yeah.
because um, Tampa is one of those cities that it's on my bucket list to visit in Florida. I mean, I've been to Miami, I've been to Orlando, Jacksonville. I have
Yeah.
family in Jacksonville. I've always been supportive of Tampa sports.
Yeah.
Even though mainstream media, a lot of mainstream media don't give them the respect that they deserve.
Mhm.
But Tampa, I mean, for quite a while now, I've been trying to go there, but just things didn't work in my favor. But it's
Mhm.
gonna happen at
Oh
someday,
yeah.
God willing. So, but I hope that they get that situation fixed, because I really want to see Rays baseball in Tampa
In Tampa.
whenever the time is right. And if I get to make it some way somehow to that retirement ceremony or the induction, then that'll be great. But I
Yep.
am expecting that it's gonna be a full house. But hey, is Evan Longoria is someone that I followed my entire during his entire career, so it's special to me in that regard. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be a day that will never be forgotten in Rays history.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And I know the Tampa fans are really excited about that. And of course, even Miguel, like you would love Tampa. I mean, even though we have a lot of people here now, a lot of people come down here. But Tampa, there's a lot to do here in Tampa. There's a lot of things to see. And when I think of Tampa, right, and a lot of people don't, the Tampa Bay area is really massive, right? And when people say the Tampa Bay area, we're not just talking about Tampa. It's not just the city, but you have St. Pete, you have Clearwater, you have so many different places that have a lot of uniqueness to them, a lot of history here in the Tampa Bay area. So seeing all of this happen in real time and things like that. I mean, we had Tom Brady here for years, for the past couple of years living here and things like that, even winning a Super Bowl, so it's a big deal here in Tampa. So I'm really excited for where Tampa is headed, especially for the Rays. I think their future is bright as long as they keep the intensity and keep the fan base engaged. Because I know it's kind of hard because we have fans in Sarasota who are used to going to the Trop like that, but now Tampa's a little bit of a stretch for them. But I know that I trust what the front office is going to do, especially if you get Evan Longoria in a position like that, in a position of the front office to make some adjustments, add his expertise to different things. I think the Rays can be in a very good shape.